Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This is Nam Singh Khalsa, and I understand people are, for his birthday, offering little stories on Yogi Ji and his life. I thought I'd actually give kind of a different type of story, more about just kind of him being a regular guy, which I really got to understand over the years and how important that is, and how he basically was able to relate to everybody and have curiosity and an understanding of everything and everyone, something that I really personally value. I was very surprised spending time with him personally, that he shared a daily routine that I've actually had since I was in elementary school, and that is to read the New York Times cover to cover. And we used to visit the ashram. You know, people seemed very interested in all of his mystic powers and his, way of impacting and inspiring people. But I was really kind of drawn kind of way that he just conducted himself in his own skin. And I totally related to it. And I noticed him in the morning. It was like the first thing he did every morning was ask for the New York Times and read it from cover to cover. And from my own experience, knowing what that means and the kind of people who actually do read the New York Times, as opposed to getting the news in other ways, and the amount of territory that covers, and I could see that he just wasn't reading one particular section. He actually was interested in politics, sports, business, the economy, current social trends, and he did that all the time. And I did that myself, and I'm going, oh, this is a very different kind of spiritual teacher, and it really gave me some insight in the kind of person he was, and that he had at least a little understanding of everything, which I think is really necessary to understand how the world works and how people are. Just know at least a little about everything. And I was encouraged by my parents to do that. I did that myself since I was young. So that was very interesting, seeing like a renowned spiritual teacher from India. Basically, part of their daily routine was to read the New York Times cover to cover. And related to that, and again on a personal level, one time I was up in Vancouver, British Columbia, visiting in a house where he was staying while he was teaching there. And then I remember that there's a lot of people in the room, and people seemed preoccupied with other things, but there happened to be, it's Canada, there happened to be an ice hockey game on the television. And I was really noticing that the thing that set him apart from the other 50 people in the room, that he was like the only one actually watching the hockey game. And I'm sure he may have never seen an ice hockey game before, but he was seeing it, and he him shouting, "Who in this room knows anything about this sport?" And nobody said anything, which kind of was very shocking to me, because it's Canada. How could 50 people who are Canadians not know anything about ice hockey? It's the national sport. I know that. And of course, I was a hockey fan, not only a hockey fan, but I played ice hockey myself. So, of course, I raised my hand. I go, "Well, sir, I know about this sport. I played this sport." He said, "Well, you sit here and you teach me about the sport." So I was sitting next to him, and there's 50 people in the room. It's just me and him watching this hockey game, and he's asking me about it, and he's studying it, and I'm teaching him the basic rules of the game. He's very engrossed in it. And like 10 minutes later, he says to me, "My son, was that a good play?" yes, sir, that was like an excellent hockey player, of course. And he said, number 16, is he considered a good player? And I say, oh, yes, sir. I think many people consider him the best player in the league. So he kind of nodded, okay, I thought so, and kept watching the game together. And again, I really appreciated that, you know, this was a guy who has to mix with everybody. So he's got to be able to talk the language and the interest of everybody he's around. So the only way to do that is to at least have a working man's knowledge of just about everything, which he did. And I felt really good about it, because that's how I really wanted to live my own life. And I think it also kind of patterned me in a way that going forward in my own life, that I'd continue doing that, so that, you know, I guess the slogan I would use is that I try to be the kind of person who could talk to anybody about anything. And I think it's very important for anybody who aspires to have an impact on people's lives, that you connect with them where they're at. And he was a really good role model for me doing that. And I just felt very personally validated and inspired by just the way that he conducted himself. Is that beyond all his fame and adoration by so many people, that at the end of the day, he was like a regular guy who sincerely had an interest in everybody and everyone. So that would be what I'd like to share today in celebration of the birthday of my beloved teacher. God bless. Yogiji Khalsa, Yogiji Ki Fateh.